The Hamas attack on Israel was an inside job by the globalist elite, working in tandem with the Biden regime and the Israeli government, as part of the Great Master Plan for World War III, which has been in the works since the State of Israel was created after World War II. The terrorists were funded and armed by the Biden regime in the build-up to the attack. The Israeli false flag will light the fuse to ignite a holy war that will spiral out of control and lay the groundwork for the elite to usher in a one-world government and a one-world religion. Every year, Israel receives billions of dollars in US military aid, and they recently installed a new David Sling interceptor to supplement several other already active and high-tech defense systems: Iron Dome, David Sling, Arrow 2 and Arrow 3.
Its projectiles, known as stunners, are two-stage missiles that use multiple sensors. They are launched in a near vertical orientation from a stationary location that can defend the entire country.
No expense was spared installing the latest and greatest military hardware in their skies. And yet we're expected to believe that these high-tech defense systems couldn't protect against motorized paragliders. Israel also upgraded and bolstered their border wall with advanced technologies and sensors, calling it the Iron Wall. The Israelis have the most advanced and invasive surveillance system in the world. There are sensors literally everywhere, even deep in the ground so that Palestinians can't build tunnels. Now we know that despite their denials, Netanyahu and Israel were aware of the attack before it happened. The Times of Israel, Associated Press and Al Jazeera are reporting that Egypt warned Israel of a major attack coming from Gaza 10 days before the events last weekend, but Israel officials ignored it. Is this another globalist psyop? According to a former Israeli intelligence agent, the Hamas attack does not make any sense and bears all the hallmarks of a planned operation.
A year ago, there was a military operation in Gaza to prepare for such events, and ongoingly there are trainings for these kind of scenarios. This raises serious questions for me anyway about Israeli intelligence. What happened? 2 years ago, there was a successful deployment of underground barriers with sensors to alert exactly on these kind of terrorist breaches. Israel has one of the most advanced and high-tech armies. How come there was zero response to the border and fence breaching? I cannot understand that. Personally, I served in the IDF 25 years ago in the intelligence forces. There's no way, in my view, that Israel did not know of what's coming. How come border crossings were wide open? Something is very wrong here. Something is very strange. This chain of events is very unusual and not typical for the Israeli defense system. This surprise attack seems like a planned operation on all fronts. The Yom Kippur War was on October 6, 1973. If I was a conspiracy theorist, I would say that this feels like the work of the deep state. It feels like the people of Israel and the people of Palestine have been sold once again to the higher powers that be.
She's not wrong. Something is very wrong here. We could start with Joe Biden, handmaiden of the elite, who recently sent billions of dollars to Iran, who directly fund Hamas. Just days ago, Biden sent an irregular payment of $75 million directly to Palestine. And then days later, after the Hamas attack, sent a whopping $8 billion to Israel in emergency military aid. In the great tradition of the globalist elite, the Biden regime is funding both sides of the war. The Rothschild funded both sides of the Napoleonic Wars, and this proved so profitable for them, they funded both sides of every war since, including the 2 world wars. The Bush family also have history in this regard, with Prescott Bush, grandfather of George W., funding both sides of the Second World War. The globalist elite just want to see the world burn, and get rich while it happens. The useful idiots on mainstream media are determined to call the attacks Israel's 9/11, and they are closer to the truth than they realise. Just like the 9/11 attacks, the attack on Israel is not what it seems, and the official narrative surrounding both events can be dismissed out of hand as obvious propaganda. Most concerning of all, every prominent influencer, pundit and politician immediately condemned the attacks, despite their numerous oddities, without asking any questions about the numerous security failures of the Israeli military. CNN has already been caught spreading fake news about the attack, retreading old footage from 2021 to spread the globalist war agenda.
As I was scrolling on social media last night, something caught my attention, and it was the fact that media offices and media buildings were being targeted in Gaza. And you can clearly see October 7th, there's the date right there. But then look over here at the date. The 15th of May of 2021.
MSNBC wasted no time in reminding Americans of where they stand in the globalist pecking order. According to the elite, 20 Israeli lives are worth 1,000 American lives.
When 20 Israelis are killed or 20 hostages are captured, that's like 1,000 Americans. So if we get into 60 Israeli killed, we're looking at truly a 9/11 level event. And I think that number is going to be well above 60.
Just like the 9/11 attacks, the globalist elite are rubbing their hands together at the prospect of launching more forever wars in the Middle East, more devaluation of currencies, more neglect of the people in favour of war, death and the globalist agenda. Violence begets more violence. The elites are determined to send humanity on a race to the bottom, while they get richer, tighten the noose around humanity's neck and enact their long-planned agenda for World War III and a one-world government. Rothschild admitted that his family created Israel as part of the great master plan for World War III, and now their agenda is playing out before our very eyes.